The Daihatsu Rocky is a mini SUV that was manufactured by Japanese automaker Daihatsu between 1987 and 1998. It is known as the Daihatsu Lovibond Rocky in Japan, as the Daihatsu Feroza in continental Europe, Latin America, and Australasia. It was known as the Daihatsu Sportrak in UK and as the Rocky in North America. To avoid confusion, owners often refer to the models by their factory model number F300 or F310. The F310 variant, marketed as the MkII Sportrak Feroza II, featured a flared guards to accommodate a wider track than the F300. The F310 was released in 1994. Before the later facelift, it had a widened chassis and running gear, including differentials, but the body was kept the same, except for the wider fender flares. After this facelift, both the F300 and F310 variations were kept, with differing trim levels and interior design. This is more notable on the color and pattern of the seats. Both Rocky and Feroza were also used in various markets on the larger and heavier F75 series, fitted with a Daihatsu 1600cc SOHC 16-valve inline-4 petrol engine, carbureted or EFI, linked via a manual gearbox or as an automatic transmission, propshaft and differential to the front wheels and rear axle to provide either four-wheel drive or two-wheel drive depending on the driver requirement. 2WD, 4WD low and 4WD high are selected using a selector next to the gear stick in the cabin. Full-time 4WD with lockable interaxle differential version were available, but without a low gear in transfer case. The Feroza was powered by a 1589cc SOHC 16-valve four-cylinder engine, Daihatsu Model HD or HDC. Power ranged between 75 and 105 PS, 55 and 77 kilowatts. In Japan, it was available with a three-door body only, and was one of the first mini SUVs introduced by Japanese manufacturers during the 1980s. In Europe and Australia, the Rocky was known as the Daihatsu Feroza, as the name Rocky was used for the larger Rugger four-track in most countries. The export model had a detuned version of the more powerful engine, with 95 PS, 70 kilowatts, as the Rocky. This was one of two models, alongside the Charade, sold in the United States during Daihatsu's brief presence in that market. A 16-valve 1.6-litre multi-point injected engine was available in Australia. The Australian Feroza II SXP variant with Rosis REGD was available in 1993, although the carburetor model was dropped from the Japanese lineup, with only the 95 105 PS engine remaining in the lineup. The Rocky Feroza was partially replaced in 1998 by the Terios. The F300 Rocky Feroza underwent some very minor facelifts during its production, mostly limited to different grilles, with early cars having a chromed unit. The taillights were mounted in the bodywork, but some cars had blinds in these spaces and instead carried their taillights in an enlarged rear bumper. This was due to legislation introduced in some markets regarding the rear pivot door. Bertone Freeclimber 2. Italian manufacturer Bertone built a variation powered by the BMW M40 engine, with 100 PS, 74 kilowatts, called the Bertone Freeclimber 2. There was also a version called Blue Lagoon, after a perfume by Nicolas de Bari. The Freeclimber was popular in France and Italy in particular, as it was unaffected by the quotas imposed on Japanese imports. WARFS Worldwide Association of Rocky, Feroza, and Sportrak owners fan site since 1999.